Ultra-processed foods are healthier than a carnivore diet. And no, this is not clickbait. Candy Berry is one of the more popular carnivore doctors out there. And one of his tweets has piqued my curiosity, because he shared a tweet about presumably how the USDA wants to make us sick by promoting ultra or ultra processed foods. Ultra is, by the way, how we German-speaking people pronounce ultra. So please forgive me for the mispronunciation. Let's read what he has to share on Twitter. The first tweet came from Kelly Means, which stated the following. They are flaunting the corruption in our faces. USDA press release says a diet of 91% ultra-processed foods is quote-unquote healthy. Candy Berry shared the tweet and stated the following. Are these the guidelines under which 89% of US adults have at least one marker of metabolic syndrome? Our generation is the headline generation. So many people just read the headlines of certain studies or blog or articles while not even reading the blog, articles or studies, which sounds as silly as it actually is. It's exactly the same as reading the cover of a book and presuming what its context truly is. It doesn't make much sense at all. And that's exactly what Candy Berry actually did with this study. Just reading the headlines without actually looking into it any further. First of all, when we talk about ultra-processed foods, we have to see what ultra-processed foods truly are. The classification system that usually applies here is called the NOAA classification system. NOAA has 4 categories. The first category is unprocessed or minimal processed foods, which usually is meat, dairy, eggs, fruits, vegetables, which are untouched. And with untouched, I mean not cooked, not baked, just in the raw, natural state. The second category is basically if you take the first category and you add salt, sugar, vegetable oils, butter, and other fats. The third category is which we get into the more processed foods. In here, they take foods from category 1 or 2 and start cooking or baking them. And let's jump into the ultra-processed category, which is category 4, which stated the following. These are foods which have been added with additives and emulsifiers and so on and so forth. I guess some of you have already figured out that this classification system has some problems. For example, I can take a lot of butter and cook some meat in it. Tons of unsaturated fats in that meal, which probably will not make it so healthy. But let's actually look at the study that Candy Berry shared, because this is going to be fascinating, I promise you. Dietary guidelines meet NOAA. As already discussed, the scientists wanted to create a meal plan which consists of 91% of ultra-processed foods, according to the NOAA category. So basically category 4 of the NOAA system. Now let's actually jump to the meal plan that they created, and I will just read the meal plan from day 1. Day 1, breakfast. It consists of the breakfast burrito, 1 flour tortilla with some liquid egg whites, a little bit of margarine, canned black beans, shredded cheddar cheese, orange juice, and non-fat ultra-filtered milk. Lunch consists of a turkey sandwich, 2 slices of whole wheat bread, 3 oz of deli turkeys, 2 slices of tomato. Then we have shredded romaine lettuce, mushrooms, shredded mozzarella, yellow mustard, frozen grilled potatoes, sparkling water. For dinner we have salmon rice bowls, 2 packets of lemon, pepper salmon, white rice, chopped scallions, diced cucumbers, sesame seeds, mayonnaise, hot sauce, toasted nori, steamed broccoli, and non-fat ultra-filtered milk. And for a snack we have some fruit cocktails. I highly encourage you to look through the other days, which I've put on the screens as well, because it's quite fascinating. On average, you can clearly see that people following this plan would probably eat way healthier than they are right now. At least most people. But I want to point out to the section of the study in which they listed out all the nutrients that one would actually get by eating this way, on average. So let's look at the nutrient content. What's truly interesting here with the macronutrients that jump straight into my eye are the dietary fiber intake, 37 grams. That's more than double the average amount that people are eating nowadays. And the saturated fat content is only 15 grams. Preferably, as the total scientific evidence shows, we want to keep the saturated fat content underneath 10% of the total amount of calories, which it is right here. That's really great. Let's go to the micronutrients. This is where it really gets interesting. We start off with the minerals. And I will tell you what the RDAs are for each and every single mineral that we will go through. With this diet, you will get over 1,500 milligrams of calcium. The RDA for calcium is roughly between 1000 and 1200 milligrams. You will get 21 milligrams of iron. The RDA for men is at 8 milligrams and the RDA for women is at 18 milligrams. You will get 460 milligrams of magnesium. The RDA for magnesium is at 420 milligrams. The RDA for phosphorus is at 700 milligrams. Potassium is at a little bit over 3000 milligrams. Sodium is higher than it actually would be, which they also point out in their conclusions. The RDA for zinc is between 8 to 11 milligrams. The RDA for copper is at 900 micrograms. You get over 2000 micrograms here. The RDA for selenium is at 55 milligrams. Let's have a look at the vitamins. Vitamin A. The RDA here is between 700 to 900 micrograms. Vitamin E is a little bit lower than we would like it to be or to have it, because the RDA is at 15 milligrams. Vitamin D is obviously lower. Thiamine is at what I presume not 146 milligrams, but probably 1.46 milligrams. That's what they probably meant here. The RDA is at 1.2 milligrams. The RDA for riboflavin is at 1.3 milligrams. For niacin, the RDA is at 16 milligrams. Vitamin B6 has an RDA of 1.3 milligrams. They more than tripled the RDA for vitamin B12. You would be deficient in choline if you follow this diet because the RDA is at 550 milligrams. The vitamin K RDA is at 120, so you are well above that. And you probably won't also have a problem with your folate intake because the RDA is at 400 micrograms.
Here's a typical day of eating for a high-fat 4-year carnivore gal. Lots and lots of cold butter, deliciously seared fatty steaks, and some soft boiled eggs. What did you eat today?
So there you have it. A couple of concerning parts, especially the sodium intake. You could probably supplement the other minerals and vitamins that you're lacking in. The last thing I would like to mention is that Candy Berry mentions the guidelines and blames the guideline for our health issues that we have today. Sadly, no one follows the guideline. Blaming the guidelines while no one follows the guidelines doesn't seem very reasonable to me. Ultra-processed foods can be more nutritious than a carnivore diet. What are your thoughts about this video? Feel free to let me know in the comment section. Thanks for being here and taking part of this conversation. I see you all during my next video.